when the Afrikaners were allocated by the National Party land in Namibia, because especially the poor Afrikaners, because they couldn't find land for them in South Africa, and they gave them Namibia for that. The government heavily subsidized those farmers. They also gave them skills of what they were to do with that. But yet today, when black people are asking for resources, especially land and all that, we ask them, what are you going to do with farming land? Do you have the skills? What plan do you have? The question is, what do we have actually to uplift those people who do not have the skills to be able to make use of that land, rather than asking them questions of what are you going to do with the land? Finally, we should also start thinking of the African perspective of land. That initially Africans never thought of land for never took land for its economic value. And we're speaking about economic inequality today, and we're so much focused on the dollar and its value on human life. And we forget the aspect of cultural values, dignity that the whole colonialist and apartheid history took away from black people. And today when people are saying that give us land, we simply think of their request for land in economic values, and we never think about that that is actually a restoration of their values, their cultures, and dignity as people.
Hello. Yeah, thank you once again to the speakers. Like the previous speaker, I'm passionate about land. And in relation to the land and the comment by Nangula, I think we should take benefit as relative. And I say that because, and I say it respectfully, a car stolen in Ludwigsdorp, found in Karatura by the police, will be returned to the owner, even if the thief used it for transport, more workers to Ludwigsdorp as opposed to the owner who only drives the son to school. So the point I make in relation to the land question with historical fact, land should not be limited to economics. And I wish to quote Judge Dikeng Mosenek. Land is not just an issue of economic or commercial importance. It has meaning at many levels. It is very spiritual. It is in the land that we bury our people. We connect and we speak to our ancestors. It is the land on which we build churches, temples, and mosques, and build at its form land that we eat and survive on. And in relation to benefit being relative, that is the benefit to the affected communities. And I think that we should just manage that so that we don't create further problems or miscommunicate to the affected communities. And I say it respectfully.
Thank you. I think that's a comment? Comment/question, and I think we had one comment and a question there. Can you perhaps sort of reflect on that before we take the next round of questions? And I would also like to urge the women that are present here, please, to also engage. We don't want to make this an all-men affair.
Is it on? Yeah, okay. Just on the issue of the standard of living and poverty. By standard of living, my assumption is that you are talking about the basic services, food, transportation, health, all the issues which are the basics in town. As I said, poverty is very, very wide-ranging. For example, if you look at, I think during education we talked about transport. If you are here and you need to look for a job, in Namibia we don't have, in Windhoek for example, we don't have public transportation which is cheap enough or subsidized by government. We have the city buses, but already that increases the cost of living, especially for the people you call underemployed. If you earn about $500 per day and you need to travel to come to your work, that's an extra cost which really does that. And we depend on all these stakeholders. Is City of Windhoek having a vision to make sure that transport is accessible? Secondly, it's affordable. All of us here actually spend a lot of money moving our kids from school and back home for distances. If you are in Katutura and you want private school in Glen Windhoek, you have to travel every day. It's actually costly even to our employers that Sometimes you spend 2 to 3 hours on the road just moving between school because our transportation system does not allow it. But if you go to other countries, they will even have a bus ticket for the school growing, like from 15 years old. You don't have to take your kid to school yourself. They will get on a bus at a subsidized price and get to work and back and free the parents from that. So you are right that we need to look at all these issues of the standard of living, how we really bring it down. And it's something, as I said, as stakeholders, we have to look how we make our life better. Because, of course, usually, because we give social grants, we always talk about money. But there's a lot of societal issues which can be improved to change the way we live. I always complain in Windhoek that the city also doesn't allow us for physical exercise. When you go to cities in Europe, you walk to the bus station. Here, you park below your building, you walk into a lift, you go up, you do the same thing. So where you sleep and where you sit is next to where you drive. We could be encouraged. There's no cycling lanes. There's a lot of social issues which we can look at as a country to make our life easier, which are also connected to health issues. You know, if we are not healthy, we are still poor. What has happened, you see that when we got money as black people, we start eating too much sugar, too much of the wrong food. We are dying early. The life expectancy in this country is 58 years. For me, I would think I'm about to die right now. So these are things which are very, very serious. Yeah.
Ms. Uaandja?
Yes, thank you very much. I think the first point, let's talk about the education. And now the white people that got land, whatever, they were not asked and they got land, and today you ask us. So I was not here then, so let me talk for now that I'm here. So I think when we look at it now, and I'm not asking you as the person that is asking for land, so I'm not telling people don't ask for land, but have a view as to what do you need the land for and a strategy. And if I'm government that says I'm going to allocate land, so whether now it actually looks like from the way that it was done by the Afrikaans government then, it looked like they had a strategy. So they thought, we are going to give our people land, and when we give them land, we will give them this and this and this, and this will be the outcome. There was a strategy. Do we have the similar strategy? That is my question. So the point is, when we now say we will take land and we will give it, do we consider that that land, for it to be used, people will need the skill, the whatever, whether they will prepare the strategy or we will help them prepare the strategy, and they have the know-how to learn that strategy, to implement it. There must be a strategy. Whether it is by those people or by government, we must have a strategy. If we just allocate it, if people ask for land, here is land cut in 10 parts, give it, then I think we will probably not reach a desired level because we don't have a strategy. Now we come to the strategy and say, we must not look at land just in monetary terms, which is right. Then again, that is something that we have to make a deliberate decision on. So are we using land to redistribute wealth? Are we using land to increase, to decrease inequalities? Are we using it to make sure that we maintain our customs, values, norms, and so on? Are we using it for both? And if we are going to split it, which are we using for what? So I don't think I'm here to give the solution, but I'm here to ask the question of saying, so we have got those, are we putting it on paper and say, look, why do we need land? We can have it for this reason, for this reason. How much land do we have available? How much do we allocate for what? How much will it bring to the country? Or all of the land should not be used for income generation and wealth. It must just go towards custom. I think those are the questions that we need to answer. So I'm not saying it's not right to ask for land, but you must have a strategy, a need, and a plan of what do you need for what and how you are going to use it. And I think that is the conversations that we need to have. But sometimes I think we come and talk about the topic because land is a matter, land. And what about land? Do we go to the specifics? I think that is important.
You wanted to add, Vani?
Yes, I'm tempted to comment on the land issue in a way that where we are right now in Namibia, the productivity of our land is actually in question. The value of our land is actually because, when government got into the business of buying land, and also the foreigners got into the business of buying land, Our land is actually almost like a commodity, like a gold bar, more than the cattle you're putting on it. Because if I have land, and this is the interest people have, because those who have it, if I sell my land today, I have 20 million. Money which I will not get whether I run my cattle ranch for so long. A lot of our land is bush encroached. The productivity with the cattle, and we have that discussion with the farmers that when you are selling, you want a lot of money. But when we are taxing, you are saying that, no, but look at my business. Yes, it's not produced that much tax, but when you are collecting now the money, you want as high as possible. And the foreigners actually come and play into that role that what government will pay 20 million, a foreigner will pay 50 million. So we have to look at it. It's not only issues of production, especially with Namibian land. It's the issue that it has become so commoditized that everybody wants it because it's instant millions. It's instant millions. That there's a current diversion where the money, the production, and the land is separating in this country because we are an arid country. We're an arid country. The farmers are facing an issue of bush encroachment and low productivity. A few of them, of course, are accessing the Europe. But even that, if you go and check with Mitco, those things are coming down, the production.
All right. Do you have more questions?
Yes.
Okay, I think let's move to that side. We can take, I think, we haven't given any attention to this side. So, with the microphones? We'll come to you, comrade. Don't worry about it. Do I see any hands from women? Let's not make sexist comments. Sir, please.
Thank you, Ricardo. Once again, my name is Benedict Low. I'm a Namibian activist agitating for radical economic transformation in our beloved country. I think, for starters, I need to thank the Permanent Secretary, Ms. Lusepani. I think if I did not know it better, I think you are supposed to join us in the front line of being an activist, because you speak like a true activist. I like the way how you are